Hello, stay right there. Whether you are a real estate rookie or a pro, or you have done some transaction under your belt, you want to discover the secrets of residential real estate flipping. Do I have your attentions? This is Mohammed Siddiq. Welcome to Real Estate Income Magazine, the next episode of Hangout. Today I have a very special guest, Eddie Edwards from Atlanta. I will be introducing him in just a moment. He is the pro and expert of the residential real estate flipping. So I thought, let me bring him and ask him, grill him on some good questions so that you and I both can learn. I'm talking to you, okay? So we can learn together how to do a flipping. So on the behalf of Shiv Ganesh, editor-in-chief, and myself, thank you so much for joining me on Information Pack session with Eddie Edwards today. That brings me to today's topic, the secrets of residential real estate flipping. The gentleman who is my guest is Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards is a real estate broker in New York and Georgia, real estate educator and real estate investor for almost 15 years. By heart, Eddie is an entrepreneur who believes in collaboration and mutual success. Please join me to welcome our guest, Eddie Edwards. Eddie, welcome to our show.
Yes, thank you, Sadiq. Thank you for having me, and a warm welcome to all our listeners.
So, thank you. Let me start with this. Eddie, forgive me if you don't understand every word what I say because of my accent. However, my
That's
questions
all
are
right.
critical. However, my questions are critical important, and my goal is to extract as much as content richness as possible. I really ask tough questions to get to the matter. May I ask some direct and tough questions?
Okay, that's fine, Sadiq. Your accent does not bother me. I
Okay.
myself have a little bit of accent too, so
Okay.
it's a quite all right. I'm understanding you clearly.
Okay, wonderful. So let me start with this. What makes you to uniquely qualified to speak on residential real estate flipping?
Well, Sadiq, as you know, I've been in real estate since 1986. That gives me over 20 years of solid real estate experiences. So therefore, my years of experience and having the ability to fund my own cash deals, closing them as quickly as due diligence is completed, gives me a unique edge along with my years of experience. Now, I've been in the real estate business since 1986, and I've seen and participated in many of the real estate booms and busts. So that is what uniquely qualified me to speak on residential real estate flipping.
That is great. What is the residential real estate flipping in your point of view?
Well, pretty much real estate flipping is a strategy that is used, one of the many strategies that is used to get a return on investment. Now, for me, fix and flip have been around for a very long time. However, it is only recently I've personally undertaken to implement this kind of cash flowing strategy to my real estate portfolio. As you know, there is a buy and wholesale strategy. There is the buy, rehab, refinance, and hold strategy, and the buy, rehab, and flip strategy, which is now the main strategy that seasoned real estate investors are utilizing at this present moment in time. Now, buying and flipping is a faster way to cash out on short-term real estate holdings with a view to making a 20 to 40% return on an investment within a 120-day cycle. In other words, an investor does not want to buy a property and stay longer in that property because of holding costs beyond 120 days. Now, I buy property on a national level, working with many individuals on the ground in many communities across America. That is pretty much what real estate flipping and investing is for me really is really the return on investment within a short period of time.
Thank you, Eddie. If I understood it correctly, what you are saying is a real estate flipping, residential real estate flipping mean you buy a property and you flip in a very short period of time and make a return of 30 to 40%, and usually within a 90 to 120 days. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct because the strategy of, of, of real estate flipping is not really to hold a property long term. You would like to buy that property, close it as quickly as possible, get your contractors and your designers to go into that property and have it renovated as quickly as possible, put it on the market with a realtor, and have that property sold with a very effective and quick marketing strategy.
Wonderful. Jim Rohn said, bigger the why, easier the how. Why learning the residential real estate flipping is so important to achieve a greater success.
Well, the bigger the how, or the bigger the why, the easier the how. That is so very true because the same effort that one used to pursue a small item, it is pretty much the same effort to pursue a bigger item. So the bigger the dream, the easier the how becomes. So Mr. General is absolutely correct when he said that. But in learning about real estate residential flipping and in trying to achieve massive success, like anything else, as in life, it is either one is learning, standing still, or one is dying. Now, all real estate investors should have a working knowledge of the different real estate investing strategies. Because remember, it is what we learn today will make us earn tomorrow. And as in my case, what I've learned over the years is now paying me in big dividends in real estate profits. So the important thing with real estate, it is a large transaction item and it pays to dream big. You know, dream big and the rewards will be big.
Great. That leads to my next question. Why do real estate investors typically get started with you? I'm sorry, how do real estate investors typically get started with you on a residential real estate flipping on a step-by-step basis?
Okay, well, as you know, with the current changes due to the meltdown in the real estate market, a lot of things have changed. And one of the things that many real estate investors has to look for in getting people or investors to begin investing with them in real estate is to be sure, first and foremost, that if anyone wants to invest in real estate or become a part of my real estate investment portal, it is for that person to be certified that they are accredited investors. That to me is the first step. And also, maybe I should really look at that question and think about it a little bit more because I would think that depending on what the investor or what that person's goal are, not everybody will have the money, the dime, so to speak, but they will have the time. So if someone comes to me and they have the time and not the dime, then the steps that they would take would be a little bit different. Having the time, meaning that they would be willing to put the time in so that they can make the dime. But however, in trying to make the dime, you can't make the dime without having that knowledge. So first comes the knowledge, and then you couple that with your time, and then you make the dime. There are different ways that someone can invest. I like to work with accredited investors. In other words, they must have a net worth of at least 1 million US dollars, not including the value of their primary residence, or they should have an income of at least 200,000 each year for the last 2 years. If they're working as a man and wife together, they should have a combined income of at least 300,000, and they should also have the expectation to make the same amount of money each year or for the next year to come. Remember, these rules came about because there were so many people who have suffered great losses, and then a lot of people were claiming that they did not understand. So by forcing potential investors like myself who are looking for money partners to only go out and seek accredited investors is a very key concept, because it is assumed that once someone is considered to be an accredited investor, then they are pretty much investment savvy and are very knowledgeable in, in regards to the different aspects of investment. Now, I also work with property finders. These are people who do not have the dime but have the time. And they do not even have to have a licensed real estate license in order for them to make a profit in real estate working with me. I pay my property finders up to $10,000 for each property that they bring to me with proper comps and proper my brain is going there. With a proper plan that fits into my business model. Once I close upon escrow, then they get their 10,000 fees, and I will also train them as to how to make, discover, and analyze these properties and make them into a profitable venture for both my property finders and myself. So these are the two basic ways that most people can begin to work with me on deals.
Wonderful. Here are two things which I understood from this. You work with two type of people. One is the accredited investors. That mean they are making. You can look at on Google and IRS website what the accredited investors mean. So we are just
Yeah,
educating you on
that,
this interview. So that means you are making a $200,000 a year, or your net worth is over $1 million plus. Which really mean is you are a investment pro. You understand the risks involved in any investments. You have gone through all the basic of risk and tolerance level, and everyone has their own tolerance level. The second type of real estate investors Eddie works with is like people who have like, I love this one. If you don't have a dime, you have a time. Is that right?
yes,
So
that is
that means,
correct. That is
and also that's also called a bird dogs, the people who find properties. And what he does it, he pays a $10,000 on like that's like a finder fee. You don't even need a license for that one, as per Eddie what was saying. I'm just covering what I learned from the guest right on the same call. So either you have money. If you don't have money, you have like a time. That means you can find a property and he can write you a check on escrow. Escrow means when he is actually closing the property, he is going to write you a $10,000 check. That's a great way to work with the like a new investors and also with the accredited investors. Eddie?
yes. But most accredited investors are going for a larger share of the pie, because if they have the ability to invest, then we can do more joint venturing on individual properties, and sharing in the profits upon resale of the properties.
That leads to my next question. What if any one of our real estate income magazine subscribers get started with you on residential real estate flipping? What would be their life look like in, say, 30 days, 90 days, or 1 year from now?
That's a very good question. I mean, most people think that real estate, well, let me not say put it that way. Real estate will allow an individual to be in command of extensive property holdings, and that will also increase their net worth. However, my real estate does not promise any type of microwave riches. By that I mean, this is not a Johnny just come lately or the UPS man or the auto mechanic who just happens to get involved in real estate and then start to make those millions of dollars. Pretty much those kind of guru kind of thinking and those days are far gone now that the market has been more contracted and investors are held at a higher standard in regards to the anticipated future value of real estate. So I just wanted to make that clear. I am not into selling real estate like a used car dealer, but investing in real estate to generate a profitable return on an investment. And normally, what we consider to be a profitable return on investment is anywhere between 20 to 40% on the return on the investment within a 120 days period. Now, with that being said, you would have to take into consideration the educational background and the possible level of understanding of the individual about real estate. In 30 days, a seasoned investor can make a ton of money, while a less than seasoned investor, it may take them 90 days and beyond. A newbie, it can take them longer. However, if one put in consistent and persistent effort into the real estate investing, learning the strategies, doing what it takes, just doing something daily, then their life will change considerably in a year. Considerably in a year. So real estate is still the main vehicle for many of the millionaires in America right now. Most of them are highly invested in real estate. So someone's life can change. However, that person has to go through the process because in order for one to become a success in any venture, there's a process that one has to go through. And I'm not talking about the microwave process because the microwave process means that you get so hot within a split second, by the time the minute comes around, you are ice cold.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, you're really setting up the stage. Says there's no magic button. You have to learn the residential real estate flipping, and then it takes if you are a pro, then you could be making a lot of money in 30 days or so. However, if you are a rookie and trying to learn, then it may take 90 days or even longer to actually before you make a dime. So make sure you understand, you learn the process first before you actually invest your own money. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And also, given that real estate is not something that you find today and you make that a bag of money or $1 million tomorrow, that those were the mindset and the actions and activities that drove the real estate market during the boom years of the 2000 of the 2008. Now it's a little bit different. So the good thing about the flip buying and flip strategy is that it's really the utilizing the maximum buy low and selling back as high as possible to generate the highest possible profit from a property. So yes, you are correct.
Great. That leads to my next question. What are the specific roadblocks that typically prevent your real estate investors from start to with you on real estate flipping?
Well, roadblocks. Now, well, in my mind, roadblocks are the things that we tell ourselves that cannot be because we cannot see that the impossible is always possible. Now, anyone who's on my team, I make sure that they are not seeing any roadblock in getting the success in real estate that they deserve. Remember, Success in real estate, like in any other endeavor, has to begin in the mind. You know the adage, first within, then without. There is no specific roadblocks except the ones that an individual may place upon themselves. And to understand real estate is to first understand the success principles, negating all negative limitations and beliefs. Success always has to begin within before it can begin without. So the important thing is to change self, change that mindset. No longer see poverty as your portion, but see wealth, health, and abundance. Change yourself, and the world around you will change as well. Once you have that mindset, there should be no blockage that will prevent any of my members from making money. And also, I may add that they should have the willingness to put in the time in order to make that dime. A lot of us are not willing to put in the time, but we want to make the dime. And that is where a lot of us fail, because without the time, you can't have the dime. And then when you get the dime, then time is also against us. So if we start from early, eliminate those limiting beliefs, there is no roadblock.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much. It's most of the time our beliefs are the limiting belief. I cannot do it. There's a little you inside. That's stopping you to actually take an action. That's absolutely 100% correct, and I do 100% agree with that thing. What are the specific strategies to use the real estate flipping that are like keys to unlock or roadblocks to achieve a wild success?
Well, pretty much like I said before, to really move past whatever roadblock that is affecting one or that one feel is blocking them. It is first to identify what is that emotional distress that is creating that roadblock. Once you have identified that emotional distress that is creating that roadblock for you, then you go out and you try to correct that emotional roadblock. Once you have that emotional roadblock totally eradicated, then the road to success opens up in wide array of dazzling colors for you. So all that is needed to flip a house is one having the willingness to begin to learn about house flipping. And I cannot stress this enough, because many people want to come into the house business and they want to make instant money without first understanding the basics of the underlying concepts. I encourage anyone who wants to learn real estate, because if anyone works with me, I am a tickler for them learning. And one of the best ways that one can learn is to read, read, read. Read as many real estate books as you possibly can. Learn from those people who have gone before you and left that mark of their experiences in books. So and also become a member of your local real estate investors association, and aligning oneself with other investors who are willing to teach the different strategies. I am always open and willing to work with newbies, house finders, bird doggers, um, seasoned investors, not so seasoned investors, and even those investors who many are considered to be ones and dones. You have a lot of investors who have done only one deal and they're done. They've never done another one. So that's pretty much the specific strategy is what you learn as you go along. And as you unblock your emotional blockage, then there is no blockage to your success and for you to achieve your wildest success ever.
So, Eddie, if people want to start with you, what's the first physical action step you want them to take, get started with real estate flipping with you?
Well, if the first action step that they would have to do is to reach out to me, and that they can do by either my telephone number, which is 770-714-6210, or through my email, eddie@eddieedwardsrealestate.com. That is the first step in taking action is if I have made an impression upon someone and they think that they would like to take the challenge to begin to invest in real estate, then it's just a matter of taking action by making that call or sending that email. That is the first physical action step that they would need to do to make that initial connection where they begin to align themselves with someone who has the capability of teaching them how to begin the process. And like I said, I buy properties nationwide, and I do have a lot of individuals on the ground that I'm working with. Many of them really quit before the time comes because they were not willing to put the time in. But that is the first physical action step. Take up the telephone, make a call to me, or shoot me an email.
Repeat that phone number 7706 sorry 714 six two one
Seven,
zero.
yes, that is correct. That is my number,
And
770-714-6210. And my
and
email address, which is very simple,
go ahead, repeat your email.
which is Eddie at eddieedwardsrealestate.com.
Yeah, the email is Eddie, EDDIE, at Eddie Edwards, EDDIE, realestate.com. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yes, that
Okay.
is absolutely correct. Yes.
So what would be the one secret? Let's say I have what else? What question did you want me to ask and I did not get around to it?
Well, I mean, pretty much, I think you have pretty much covered most of the bases in regards to the question. So I do not see that there's any that would need to be further discussion. Anything that would require further explanation would be would require more one-on-one interview. But pretty much, maybe you could have asked me about how someone can become an investor in non-performing mortgages. But then that's a whole nother area of ways of making money that not very many people are aware of. Investing in non-performing mortgage notes.
So thank you. For those who have not able to write this one, and I wrote it for you. Okay, Eddie Edwards, 770-714-6210, and email is eddie at eddieedwardsrealestate.com. And now hopefully you can read my English. My handwriting is not the most beautiful one. However, it's better than just saying it. It's more for visual people. Again, Eddie Edwards, 770-714-6210, and Eddie at eddieedwardsrealestate.com. So, Eddie, you have been so good. You shared so much information with us, and I learned a lot on this quick interview. Here is my most favorite question. Where have you faced challenges while building real estate flipping business, and how you went around to it?
That's a good question. Now, you know, for me, it is like this. If you are not expecting to fail, you cannot expect to succeed. And since my foray into real estate in 1986, I have faced numerous challenges on different levels in real estate investing. And I have been able to withstand those challenges. The biggest challenge that I had when I decided to realign and incorporate the greater strategy of flipping, fixing and flipping to my portfolio was actually in funding. And I had to go all the way out in trying to find investors to put together a $2 million portfolio of instant cash for acquisition of real estate. That was my biggest challenge. My biggest challenge was taking my mind from where it used to be in regards to my initial investing strategy of in real estate, which was buy, fix, and own. My initial strategy that I pursued with fastidiously was buy, fix, refinance, and own. Therefore, I was more looking at a long-term strategy because it was easier, or my mindset was you will build wealth long term with real estate. But because the market changed, then I have to shift that strategy, relearn and remake myself to come back in with the fix and flip strategy. And the greatest challenge that I faced was really amassing that $2 to $3 million worth of live liquidity that I now possess for the acquisition. So I've pretty much gotten around that by aligning myself with the right kind of people, with the who are vibrating the correct mindset. As a matter of fact, I had to retrain myself totally in regards to my belief in how success should be attained. Those were my greatest challenges, and uh, the greatest one of all was really just trying to overcome me. That was my greatest challenge.
I can relate to that, definitely. I've been through that same situation. Of course, during the period of when you in a business, there are certain things. Most of the time, your biggest problem is your limiting belief. You have to raise the bar, and of course, you are opening up so much with a higher risk, and that's where the reward is. You take a higher risk. Potentially, there is a bigger reward, and sometimes if you don't do your homework or you have not learned the right steps, you could lose it all. That's high risk. However, the people like Eddie and many others who have made it through, then people think, oh, it like whatever he touch, it's a gold. But that's not true. They share their on this interview like this. They share that they had the same problem like you are facing right now. So, but you have to work on your problem and get around to that one. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was a very special one. What would you say as a final word? Who would like to join you on residential real estate flipping?
Well, pretty much the final word in closing is that I am always available to work with anyone who wants to learn, earn, and return. With that, I mean I am always willing to learn and I'm always earning and I'm always willing to give back. You cannot get success by yourself. You have to begin to share success. This is why I'm always willing to work with anyone who expressed a willingness to become a part of working and making a profit in real estate investment. And it is what we learn today that will enable us to earn tomorrow. Pretty much that is it. Real estate flipping is the main strategy that most of the mom and pop investors are applying today, since we are being displaced by the larger corporate investors and by the foreclosure to rental program that the government implemented last year. So you have a lot of equity funds and corporate money and pension funds that are coming into the real estate market and buying up a lot of single family residential real estate. And that area was once a reserved area for mom and pop investors. So just reach out to me, 770-714-6210, or email me, eddie@eddieedwardsrealestate.com, and you will begin the process of how you can become a part of a winning real estate strategy.
While you were saving your contact information, I was holding a card for you so they can see it too.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Eddie Edwards, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Real Estate Income Magazine, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Sadiq. Wish you good luck, good sales, and I do our path across again on our next Real Estate Income Magazine Hangout. All good wishes. Bye bye.
Bye bye.